Here at the Ramsey House in East Knox County, history is being unearthed, literally. It's not an interpretation of history like you'd find in books. It's a history as real as the earth from which it comes. Dr. Charles Faulkner is our guide as we visit an archaeological dig in progress.
The Ramsey House was built in 1797, and we're out here trying to find the outbuildings or the service buildings that were associated with the Ramsey House in the late 18th and early 19th century.
Like the smokehouse, or?
Yes, especially his office, Alexander Ramsey's office. Let me show you one of the first units we opened up here. What we see here is a post hole, which we think is fairly early in the history of the site. And the reason we think this is because it intrudes through this level of limestone and glass down here, which we think was laid down perhaps when the house was built or perhaps when a building was torn down in this area. And a lot of this early glass was found down in the post hole. Here's a piece right here. You can see it's very thin, and it's typical for the late 18th or early 19th centuries. Let me show you another unit over here, Bill. Oh good, she's found something. They didn't have garbage disposals or trash disposal units back in the late 18th century, so they just threw things out in the yard. Something real interesting here, Wayne. It looks like a piece of red cat's eye creamware. It's either a cup or a bowl. See the paintings on the outside. If it was on this side, it would be a plate or a saucer or something like that. Let me show you another unit over here, Bill. This might be some kind of a foundational stone below this trash pit. We thought that might be the remains of a building, but let me show you one of the most interesting and I think important things we've found out here. This is a brick construction that when we first found it, we thought was the remains of a porch because it had been laid into a builder's trench. We know this was done around the turn of the century because of the fact that the bricks are machine-made. But in talking to local informants, I now think that this is probably a sweet potato bed that was put in here around the turn of the century. Why you would build an elaborate bed like this, I'm kind of curious. I don't know whether this has ever really been formally recorded. You always find the unexpected in archaeology. You never know what you're going to find under the ground. And it's all important, of course, whether it was something that dates 200 years ago or whether it's something that only dates 50 years ago. It's exciting to me because really when you look at the history books and you look at the past records, we know so little about the daily life ways of people who lived in this area. We'll take the information that we've gotten from the ground and analyze it, and then we'll make recommendations for future archaeological work, which we hope will be done here. So much of this is lost. Our folk traditions, our folklore, our material culture, folk material culture, all these kinds of things. It's all the remains of past human activity, and that's what we're trying to record out here.